All right, boys and girls, it's that time again. Who's the top dog? Polaris Pro R or Can-Am X3 RS Turbo RR? Let's talk about it.
Before we get started here, just want to take a second and direct your attention to Rocky Mountain ATV MC. Honestly, guys, this is probably one of the best online sources to buy anything you need for your UTV, motorcycle, ATV, anything. I mean, you got pretty much any OEM parts you need, they have it. They'll ship it to you. Get any tires you want, basically. They have one of the largest selections online and generally have the best prices available online at the same time. You can get tools for your machines, oil change tools. You can get oil change kits for pretty much any machine out there. They carry all the manufacturer oils, or they have different Bel-Ray, Maxima. They have all the different oils you need, filters, air filters, anything you need for your machine. Honestly, you can get it at Rocky Mountain ATV MC. Just go ahead and hit that link down there underneath the video description. It's one of the best ways you can help support our channel because we do get a little bit of a commission on anything you buy there. Doesn't cost you a penny more, but it does help us out significantly. So go ahead and check that link out. Go buy what you need. I think anything over $75 ships free to you. And you typically have it within 3 business days, no matter what. They got 2 or 3 different warehouses around the country. So yeah, go check them out. Helps us and helps yourself too.
So for the purposes of this video, we are going to compare the engine, drivetrain, suspension, and interior creature comforts. So let's start off with the engine. I think it's safe to say Can-Am has dominated when it comes to power. They had the 195 horsepower. Then this last year, they bumped that up to 200 horsepower. They're still using the same 900cc turbocharged 3-cylinder engine. I mean, that Rotax has been pretty much bulletproof. With the exception of the side-by-side blog guys, there's not a whole lot of people blowing that thing up. And I think Doug just likes rebuilding for some reason, so I think he's sabotaging it. Honestly, these engines are great. But Polaris came to the market pretty strong this year. They have the all-new ProStar Fury, is what they're calling it. Inline 4-cylinder, 1,997cc 2-liter 4-banger. It's freaking awesome. 225 horsepower. That's pretty great. You know, Can-Am came strong. They pushed that 200 horsepower threshold that hadn't been touched for a long time. And Polaris just jumped right over it. No big deal for them. It's yet to be seen how this engine is going to behave when it gets to higher altitudes. What's it going to be like when it gets to 5, 6, 7, 8,000 feet above sea level? Because they say you lose 3% horsepower for every 1,000 feet you go. So is altitude going to be the great equalizer between the Polaris, their new engine, and say a Can-Am turbo? I don't know. This is going to be interesting. Because right now we only know what Polaris wants us to know. Remember, these machines aren't out in very many people's hands, and the people that do have them, I don't know. Is their opinion unbiased? There's really nothing out there right now to tell us what's going on with them. So it's yet to be determined. I'm going to be interested to see how they perform in higher elevations. It's going to be awesome. All right, let's talk about clutches a little bit. In Can-Am's latest release, they say that their new X3s, which are rolling out now, have the new P-Drive system. I'm not familiar with it. I've never driven anything with it yet. All I know is what Can-Am says, is that less maintenance, smoother operation, and better overall performance. If that's the case, then that's awesome. Now, Polaris, on the other hand, I don't know. I'm just going to tell it like it is. They've had some issues. They've had recalls. They've had stop drive orders because of their clutches. It wasn't too long ago. They sent out a letter and told everybody to stop driving their turbo cars because they had some issues with the clutches disintegrating. I don't know if anybody ever got hurt or anything like that, and I hope they've got that resolved. Although I did see one online yesterday, another exploded clutch. Yeah, sorry, Polaris.
The next system of the vehicle, clutching.
On the table here, we have a comparison of the Turbo S clutches and also the Polaris Pro R clutch system. Looking at the drive clutch, the first thing you notice is overall size. The size of Pro R is so much bigger, durability-wise as well as cooling capacity. This baffle plate helps direct air on the Pro R in order to really cool the clutches down. The second thing you notice on the system is the belt size itself. Looking at the center distance between Pro R and current RZR, it's also bigger, 10.5 versus 12-inch center distance on the Pro R, which really helps when you bend the belt around the clutches from a bending frequency standpoint. It really helps lower the heat and helps really improve your belt life. Moving over to the driven clutch on Pro R, it's really much the same thing. Bigger, better, beefier, more flow of air.
This time, Polaris has redesigned their clutches to be bigger and have better cooling with massive amounts of airflow. They got ducting coming in from both sides into the clutch housing. And then I saw a cutaway, whatever, a stripped down version the other day. Chupacabra Off-Road was there filming it. And in the Pro R, there's actually a huge ductwork that comes from the front of the car through the tunnel and into the clutch housing. So they've improved cooling a lot on these, hopefully. And maybe we won't see issues with belt temperatures and that type of thing. So it looks to be a pretty cool design. We'll see. Having said that, this engine is turned sideways, so now the clutch not being easily accessed from the back tire area, now you got to go through the back seats, remove a panel, and then remove the clutch housing, and then change your belt. Haven't seen any video online of anybody actually changing a belt yet, so I don't know how big of a pain it's going to be. I can imagine it's not going to be as fast as a Can-Am changing one of their belts. All right, let's talk suspension. In my opinion, Polaris has been pretty much the leader as far as suspension. They've had the dynamic system for several years now, electronically controlled. We have it in our Pro XP. Works awesome. Gives you a great ride. Honestly, I haven't been in anything yet, except for maybe the KRX, that works quite as well. The one thing being, the old dynamic system only helped, control compression. Now they have what's the Dynamics DV, which I assume means dual valve, where it controls both compression and rebound. Last year, Can-Am came out with their Smart Shocks technology, which actually does the same thing, both compression and rebound. So I think Polaris was playing a little bit of catch up to Can-Am there. I don't know which one actually works better, provides a better ride, but they're both kind of doing the same thing. You can get into how many adjustments it makes per second and all that kind of stuff, but we're not going to dive into that. So for quite a while now, Can-Am's been running 72 inches wide in some of their models, and Polaris has had, the Turbo S, which was a 72-inch machine. Well, out with the Turbo S, in with the Pro R, it's now running at 74 inches wide. That's one wide girl. She thick. Can-Am is still running at 72 inches wide. Polaris claims that their new suspension boxed A-arms in the front are better than anything that's out there aftermarket wise. We'll see. Are they going to put HCR out of business? Is HCR going to say, we don't need to touch the Turbo R or the Pro R? Either one. They're both 74 inches wide. I don't know. I doubt it. I'm sure HCR can find a way to improve and either reduce weight, different things. But Polaris claims 74-inch wide is the new thing. As far as interior goes, the Can-Am I don't think has really updated a whole lot in there over the years. They might have some different seats. They might update their gauge cluster, control panel, whatever. But fit and finish is pretty decent overall. But as far as like creature comforts, usable, cool, techie stuff, Can-Am doesn't hold a candle to what Polaris has got with their Ride Command system. Ride Command, in my opinion, my experience with our Pro XP is freaking top notch. I love it. I love the maps. I love being able to track other cars, that type of stuff. So Can-Am really needs to come up with something to compete with that or be even better. I really think they're missing the boat. I know a lot of you guys probably don't care. It's expensive stuff for sure. I know when it comes to tech stuff, there's kind of two thoughts. A lot of people don't want it. They just figure it's probably going to break. It's going to be expensive to fix. And it's not useful for them. And there's some truth to that. You know, with all advances in technology, things get more expensive. Ride Command's an expensive option. But I really think Can-Am needs to offer something comparable. They're really missing the boat when it comes to that. So Polaris has really added a lot of different things. I'm not going to go into detail on them, but there's a lot of things they've done that have, in my opinion, taken this car over the top. Unitized wheel hubs, got the whole hub and bearing. Everything's all one assembly, much like automotive stuff, cars, a lot of race cars, that type stuff. They've moved the shock mount, the shock mounting point down to the lower A-arm. It's supposed to give better stability, lower center of gravity, that type of stuff. All new chassis. They say it's twice as stiff in the torsional twisting. So it's supposed to be a more rigid frame. Let's see. One-piece cage, all made of 2-inch tubing. Here's a cool thing. The new Pro R comes with it's got an alternator on it. 1,700 watts of power. So that means you can put as many stinking light bars on there as your heart desires. It's going to be epic, guys. Compare that to the Can-Am 850 watt magneto type charging system. On paper, this new Pro R looks to be pretty ridiculous. It's awesome. All kinds of new tech, all kinds of firsts for the side-by-side industry. 225 horsepower, 2-liter engine. I keep hearing, is that even legal? What's it going to be classified? Is it really a side-by-side? Is it a sand car? I don't know anything about any of that. Polaris obviously has it figured out, so why sweat the small crap, right? So it's going to be interesting to see if Can-Am has something in the works. I'm sure they do. These things take years to develop. It's not like they see Polaris drop this Pro R the other day and then they're like, oh man, let's get something out next year. Yeah, it definitely doesn't happen like that. Whatever they got coming has been in the pipeline for years, I'm sure. So it's an exciting time in the side-by-side world, guys. Lots of cool things coming. Unfortunately, everything costs so stinking much money. MSRP on this Pro R is $37,999, and that's not even the most expensive version. They got a lot that far out, you know, go clear up into the 40,000s. I think you can get one, maybe the 4-seater. I think it comes out to almost $50,000, guys. Woo! It's crazy. The Can-Am come out to $30,299 for MSRP on what we compared here. Pretty crazy stuff. Oh, one more thing on the stats here. Something to consider when you're looking at 225 horsepower versus 200. The new Pro R comes in and weighs 2,085 pounds. So is that extra 25 horsepower just going to get sapped out by the extra weight? Compare that to the Can-Am that weighs 1,699 pounds. That's a big difference. You know, that's almost 400 pounds difference. How much difference is that going to make? I don't know, guys. So, do we have a new king? I think we have a new king. Let me know what you think down in the comments. On paper, we have a Paper King. Real world, we don't know. I'm going to leave it up to you guys to decide that. So, I hereby crown Polaris Paper King of the side-by-sides.
All right, boys and girls, that concludes it. Hopefully you made it to the end. Hopefully I didn't ramble too long. As always, thank you for supporting us. If you like what we do here, give us a thumbs up. If you hate what we do here, give us a thumbs up. And go ahead if you want to. We'd really appreciate it. Hit that subscribe button. Really is a good way to help support the channel. Lets YouTube know that people are digging what we're putting out. So, once again, guys, thanks for watching. We'll catch you on the next one. Bye.